With only 4 weeks to go before we collect our brand new 45 catamaran, we head south to Morocco to buy as much gear for the boat as we possibly can. Share the journey with us as we discover the amazing shopping and markets, explore the coast and camp in the Sahara Desert. Come with us and see what we find. Welcome everyone to another edition of the Barefoot Doctors sailing, and also welcome to Morocco, because that's where we are right now.
Yep, so we came from France to Morocco to spend a bit of time over here avoiding the cold weather in France, but also to do shopping for the Leopard 45 that we're picking up now in about 4 weeks time.
Yeah, it's getting very close. It's getting close. It had seemed such a long time away when we first. When you get a new boat, it's like having a new house. You know, there's certain things that are provided, and like built-in cupboards and things like that, but there's a lot of stuff that's not provided.
Well, nothing. I mean, it's like moving into an empty house.
Yeah.
So you've got to get all of your linen, all of your soft furnishings, all of your crockery, cutlery, pots and pans, electrical gear for cooking, and all that sort of stuff.
And people have actually asked us, well, where do you start and what do you actually buy? And of course, living on a catamaran, you always have to be aware of the weight factor. So whatever we buy, we're always, or whatever we're looking at, we always are weighing up, pardon the pun, how much that's going to impact on the weight of the boat and the sailing performance and all that sort of thing. So we thought we'd share that with you this week because people are interested.
Yeah, and a lot of people from the last episode were very curious about what shopping's like in Morocco, so that's why we're doing this episode, to actually go through a little bit more detail about what you can get here, and also if there are any things that people want to get while we're here, then let us know in the messages below.
Or let us know fast.
That's right. You've got a week, guys.
We wanted to get things as reasonably priced as we can because we know in France, you know, you often get charged a premium.
And 20% VAT.
20% VAT. And also Morocco has really suffered, so we thought, well, why not do shopping in Morocco?
Our limitation here is we have to fly back to France. So when we're flying, you can only take so much gear, and we have paid for extra bags to go home with, but still you're limited by weight. So there's certain things you just can't even we can't consider buying, but we really have to be a little bit cognizant of having to be able to physically carry it in the plane back to France. So if you can imagine your house burning down and that's where all your gear is, it was very much like that.
It took a while for us to compute that we'd actually lost that stuff, and even when we're going back to the US, knowing that we weren't going back to Ultradash, in my head I'm thinking, okay, well I won't need that because that's on the boat. Oh no, we don't have the boat anymore, you know. So we started off with the absolute most important thing are, you know, the bed coverings and the cushions. We like to sit up in bed. So every morning we have a cup of tea, and every evening before we go to sleep we have a cup of tea or a coffee or whatever it is, and we're sitting up in bed. But with the Leopard, the windows actually come quite low, so you don't have much of a room to lean back. Backrest, or it doesn't have a bed head sort of thing. So we had to buy, you know, really big comfortable pillows to put at the back of us so that when we sit up in bed we've got something to lean on. So that was definitely on the cards. And so because we've got 3 cabins, we bought 6 big size cushion covers so that we can just buy cushions on Amazon or wherever, and they should be really nice. I
was going to say we didn't buy them, we
chose the material and then putting together some design of some cushions and things that we wanted.
And so it's combining very interesting ethnic photographs with material that's got texture and different colours, and Elizabeth's created some really gorgeous cushions.
Well,
haven't you?
Let's cross our fingers and hope they come out okay.
They look like they should be.
They look like they should be good, but you know, until you get the end product, you're just never really sure. Everything has to be interchangeable so that we can use it for different purposes. And of course, throughout the boat, you've got to have cushions. I mean, John thinks I have a fetish for cushions, but
she does.
I do love cushions. It adds opulence and comfort and things like that. So So we are getting some very basic standard cushions that we can throw around.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And really, because of weight restrictions, the ordinary white sheets and duvet or doona covers and the doonas themselves we're going to buy in France. But what we're doing here in Morocco is getting the coverings for over the top and all the pillows and cushions and that sort of stuff.
And of course you can go the whole hog, and you can buy from the marine shops and all the chandleries and things like that, or you can order them online. I just really couldn't justify fitting out the whole boat and spending another, I don't know, X amount of thousands. We could run into quite a few thousand in, the soft furnishings.
Yeah, when we were in Dania Beach in Fort Lauderdale, the shop there was selling cushions for like $90 and $100 American each, and we're thinking, oh my God.
That was just for a normal
a 30 by 30,
size
a very
cushion.
small cushion.
And then of course you leave a hatch open and it rains and so.
Oh, we'd never do that.
No, we'd never do that. So that's the reason we went for making up our own and choosing a fabric and putting it together. And of course our aim is to take a little piece of everywhere we've been in our travels, so that you look around the boat and you say, oh yeah, that's when we're in Morocco, or that's when we're in France, or blah 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 blah. One thing that we did want to buy is some extra portable seats. So of course, thinking that we want a multi-purpose thing, what we decided to do is buy buffets, and they're made of leather, and you can buy them here in Morocco. But the really cool thing about these buffets, which are like little stools, little leather stools, is you zip them at the bottom and you stuff them with things to fill them up. So
you can stuff all of your winter gear into the buffets, and that saves you storage space on the boat. Great multi-purpose thing. They should be durable because it's real leather. The ones that we got were all hand-stitched, absolutely beautiful, and we think they'll go really well.
Yeah,
and because they're leather, they're not going to fall apart.
Yeah, and so we can cut them around the boat if we want to as well. So if we need extra buffets anywhere, we can just cut them around. One really important thing to us is tea and coffee. We love our tea and coffee. And one of the things I really wanted to buy when we came to Morocco was an authentic teapot, because I love it how they pour the tea,
mint tea,
and it's
very stylish.
It's such a whimsical thing, but I really love it. Anyway, I love teapots, so we replaced it with an authentic teapot from Morocco. So I'm very excited about that. And when we go to Turkey, we'll buy a coffee pot.
So let's go into a bit more detail about the bed coverings. We came across a variety of different options. Some were woolen, some were what they call cactus silk, made from fibers of the cactus plant. And they had this really amazing trick where they say, look, they don't burn, and they take a cigarette lighter and show you that the fiber is so durable that it doesn't.
And of course they knew nothing about our history. But we went, whoa.
So there's really nice, warm, soft material, very durable, and so we got a few of those.
And of course something that's able to be thrown in the washing machine, or if it gets wet, it's not going to spoil or get damaged too much or anything like that.
Products that we were looking to buy are stained with natural dye, and because they're natural dye, they don't fade away over time, whereas the artificial dyes do fade with time.
Yeah, and they don't bleed and run and all sorts of things, so that was really important as well.
So some of our beds are going to be covered with these cactus silk blankets, and very exciting and absolutely spectacular are, Elizabeth called them Berber bling.
Yeah.
So you want to tell them about Berber bling?
Well, the Berber bling is a traditional Berber rug that's woven by the Berber women. It's all natural products, and as John said, natural dyes and things like that. And then they lace in with the rug some like tiny little, well, they kind of look like washers, don't they?
Yeah.
But they're silver blingy things that are a traditional thing here that go back for centuries. So they weave these little things into the rug as well. So when you shake it, it kind of looks like
glittery.
It's gorgeous.
And also they have embroidery woven into the coverings as well. So you have this combination of almost like carpet, but like a fluffy rug with embroidery and shiny Berber bling.
And of course it's multifunctional as well, so you can use it as a bed blanket. You can use it as a throw, like you can just throw it over a lounge or a tablecloth or a rug.
And the locals actually use them as coats to keep warm too, because they're soft and flexible and comfy.
And they're used in ceremonies and things like that, the really fancy ones. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that.
And these look spectacular, but we are going to get at least one of those for our bed.
For our bed, because it's special. You've got to take care of the love nest.
These are just absolutely spectacular. I must say, we did fall in love with these wedding carpets of the Berbers.
Yeah.
They just look so amazing. So these can be used as carpets as well. In fact, where we were staying, one of these was on the floor in our riad, and that's in fact where we saw it for the first time.
Where we fell in love with it.
Yeah,
oh my God, look at that!
Isn't that fantastic? We've got to have one of those.
I know, and I thought with buying all this stuff, why not buy what we really love and be surrounded by the things that we really love from our travels. Another thing that I really wanted to get, which I fell in love with.
She wants to get a lot of stuff, by the way.
I fell in love with was this amazing platter. Now, when you're living on a boat, anybody knows, living on a boat, that you do a lot of sundowners, you do a lot of platters with nibbly things. I saw this amazing platter, and it was ceramic, which is heavy, but it had all its individual dishes that you could put on. So, but then if you wanted to just use it as a bowl or as a plate, like a platter, and have a salad, you could just take all those off and use it as a salad bowl. If I play my cards right, and if we have extra room and it's not too heavy, I just might be able to talk him into getting one.
Yeah, so I mean, we deliberately avoid using ceramic plates and pots in the boat because they're so heavy. If they fall over, they break or they dent the boat. So we generally use melamine or something like that for plates because they bounce and they're light, and 6 plates will fit into this really small space. We're trying to avoid ceramics, but this might be one variation from the rule.
Stay tuned because I might just get my way. So the other thing that we need to consider is this time we have a teak table out the back, which means that the sun is going to come beaming in there, and it, wood on a boat, it always needs maintenance, so I really want to protect it. So we're going to buy some tablecloths that we can, thin tablecloths that we can throw in the washing machine and they'll dry quickly. But I also want to have some plastic, the clear plastic that we can get from France, so that'll help protect from the weather.
Table,
yeah. We're looking at something simple like this that we can just wipe down, not too frilly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So the other thing that's really important that we're trying to replace is a lot of those clothes that we lost. So obviously the style in Morocco is significantly different, and there is some really interesting stuff here. Mm-hmm. And so we are buying a variety of things. Actually, there is something.
Oh yeah. So this is natural fibre, natural cotton and wool. And this is really handy because it protects from the sun, but also it's really cool and also it's warm. So I talked John into getting a shirt similar, and we just have to make sure we don't wear them at the same time so we look like matchy. But it's beautiful.
And so this was actually made to order, wasn't it? Because there was one that they had that didn't have any button on. They said, "What do you want?" And within 3 or 4 hours they sewed on the buttons here, but they also sewed, not this shirt, but a shirt in the same material, sewed in buttons on for me, and made a jalaba specifically. It's like a big full coat with a hood, so Elizabeth looks like a wizard. And they made that from scratch, specifically to Elizabeth's size, with nice bell sleeves and slightly shaped at the bottom.
And I got pants to match too because they were really lightweight. They'll wash really well. Drip dry basically.
And if we go to the beach, I mean, these will be really handy. Both this one and the grey one will be really handy for going to the beach, protecting from the sun. You can just have a bikini underneath, and you could even go into shops and areas of civilization with that on.
Again, multifunctional, so that's
and light.
Really the name of the game with us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be buying a few more easy to wash and wear pants, long pants, because I tend to wear long pants on the boat because I don't like to get too much sun.
Here's Ellie looking at full-length leather coats to replace the one she lost in the fire, and I'm looking for a black jacket or blazer. And of course leather is really good when you're using it on boats, in spray and in wind, because it keeps you really warm.
And of course there's things that we can't get here in Morocco that we're just going to have to buy when we get back to France or whatever, which is our really good marine quality bean bags. And we also had one of those really cool swingy chairs that we never even got to use. So, you know, there's things like that, and our stand-up paddle boards and things like that will replace those eventually.
Yeah, and one of the things we can't buy here really is bikinis. You lost all your bikinis, but that isn't something that Moroccans are into for cultural reasons, obviously.
Yeah. The other thing that they don't really have here is sun shirts. So.
Oh, yes. So there's a lot of really spectacular stuff here that we just can't buy, either because it's heavy or because it doesn't go on a boat. Things like big lamps and big mirrors and beautiful woodwork. We could buy small things. There's like chessboards and magic boxes which you have difficulty opening. That's really intriguing.
These boxes, you have the keys inside. You have 4 steps for open. Abracadabra. Diamond.
You just cannot see how the box opens at all.
It's impossible.
That's really, really clever.
And there's a secret key.
Obviously also tables and woodwork and lamps, like absolutely gorgeous, stunning lamps that you can buy here.
So we're spreading the love throughout all different economies. So of course what we need, again, is another dinghy, because that perished as well. There's still a big shortage in motors and in dinghies like you wouldn't believe, and that was the case a couple of years ago when we bought the 50.
And we knew it was going to be difficult to get a dinghy, so 3 or 4 months before the boat was due, we started to say, okay, well, we want to order this dinghy, so it's going to be ready for us in 3 or 4 months' time. At that stage, we contacted Leopard in South Africa, and we asked them if they had any stock that they could add to the boat for the freight across. And we just missed the last high-field dinghy that they had by about, again, a day or two.
That's ridiculous.
You know, they said, oh yes, we've got this. So we replied to them and they said, no, I'm sorry, it's already sold. You know.
You just can't muck about these days.
So then we approached the Leopard guys in France, who then said, well, there's 2 available, but this was going to cost an extra 2,000 euros on top of what the South African price had been quoted, and I presume that was GST or VAT, because they charge 20% in France. And we really had to order it along with I think it's a 15 horsepower Honda, which was all that was available. There was no Yamahas. It is the high field, it is the right size for us, and it is what we want. Now, specifically with dinghies, again, talking about weight and catamarans, we got the empty dinghy with no center console because it adds so much extra weight. We also got the light aluminium one rather than the fiberglass, again, because they're lighter. And we always like the light dinghies because when you're on the beach, and you have to lift it up the beach over rocks or get it up out of the waves, certainly it needs to be manageable by 2 or 3 people. But of course, the second benefit is obviously on the back of the boat. You don't want too much weight on the back. So look, the other thing that happened when we were here in Morocco is we met up with a guide who gave us a food tour and then a tour around the city of Marrakesh. And when he asked us what we did, we explained the Tough Minds process, and he was really intrigued with the Tough Minds program, and he could see the benefit of it and actually checked out the free online stuff, and he was so impressed with the benefits of it that he felt compelled to donate to help keeping the Tough Minds program available for free for people who are in distress or who are suicidal. So he donated a carpet that was been made by his mother, who's a Berber woman. This is absolutely spectacular.
It's made with natural fibres, so it won't run or bleed or fade or anything like that. And it's very durable, and it's an authentic Berber carpet.
So this carpet is going to be auctioned off, and if anybody's interested, I'll give you a link where you can go around and get more information about the carpet and how to make a bid.
And get yourself a good Berber carpet.
And all of the money from this will go directly to the Tough Minds charity to
Yeah.
keep the suicide prevention program running.
Yes. So we'd really like to put out a heartfelt thank you to Suf and Suf's mum for donating this rug, because it's very precious, and I'm sure whoever gets it will treasure it like it should. Know, we are having the most sensational time in Morocco,
We are.
aren't we?
We are.
We have been
To the desert
to the desert, we have been to the ocean and the desert. I tell you
on a
what,
horse with no name.
yeah, we have. We were in the middle of, sandstorms and things like that, and stick your finger in your ear, sand comes out,
3 days later, you put on some clothes and sand comes out of a pocket.
But it was the most incredible experience.
Yeah, great place to come in the wintertime. If you're wintering in the
Yeah.
Mediterranean, make a trip to Morocco. It's
very cheap.
It's fantastic food, fantastic shopping, interesting people.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So hit the like button, because that helps get the video out to other people, and subscribe. So hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all next week for the next exciting episode. All the best,
Bye for
guys.
now.
Bye.
If you have liked this episode, hit the like button, subscribe for free, and ding the dong so you don't miss your fix of the next exciting episode. Love and health from the Barefoot Doctors.
Okay, so that's depressing. Into the video.